There was a year of my life that felt like everything was collapsing at the same time. Plans failed, opportunities disappeared, things I thought were secure suddenly felt uncertain. It wasn't one dramatic event, it was a slow accumulation of disappointments. The kind that make you sit quietly at night and ask yourself a hard question: am I actually moving forward, or just surviving? That year forced me to confront something uncomfortable. My mindset wasn't as strong as I thought it was. When things were easy, I believed I was disciplined. When momentum was on my side, I believed I was focused. But when pressure arrived, I realized something deeper. My thinking still depended on circumstances, and that's when everything started to change. At the beginning of that difficult year, I reacted the way most people do. I focused on what was going wrong. I replayed mistakes in my head. I compared my situation with people who seemed to be progressing faster. Every day felt heavier than the last. And the more I focused on the problems, the more powerless I felt. That's when I learned the first powerful lesson. Your mind amplifies whatever you repeatedly focus on. If you constantly rehearse what's broken, your brain begins to believe that everything is broken. But if you start searching for lessons inside the difficulty, something shifts. The situation might not change immediately, but your interpretation of it does. And interpretation controls energy. One night during that difficult season, I realized something that changed my perspective. I had spent months asking the wrong question. I kept asking, why is this happening to me? But that question leads nowhere useful. So I replaced it with a different one. What is this season trying to teach me? That simple change gave me back a sense of control. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, I started acting like a student of the situation. And students look for insight, not excuses. The second mindset shift happened when I stopped trying to escape discomfort. For a long time, I believed success meant avoiding struggle. But that difficult year revealed something different. Growth almost always arrives wrapped in resistance. The uncomfortable conversations, the delayed results, the uncertainty about the future. These things aren't signs that you're failing. They're signs that you're stretching beyond your current limits. And stretching always feels unfamiliar. When I accepted that discomfort was part of the process, the pressure didn't disappear, but it stopped feeling like a threat. Instead, it felt like training. Another realization came when I looked honestly at my habits. During hard seasons, your habits either stabilize you or expose you. And I had to admit something. Some of my routines were weak. I relied too much on motivation. I worked hard when I felt inspired, but consistency disappeared when my emotions dropped. That pattern creates unstable progress. So I made a decision that year I would stop depending on how I felt. Instead, I would build simple standards that stayed the same every day. Not extreme routines, just consistent actions. Show up, do the work, improve slightly. Day after day. It wasn't glamorous, but it was powerful, because consistency rebuilds confidence. There was another mental trap I had to overcome: comparison. During difficult periods, it's easy to look at others and assume they're far ahead. Social media makes this worse. You see highlights of other people's success and start believing your own journey is failing. But comparison hides an important truth. Everyone has seasons that aren't visible. Every strong person you admire has experienced periods where progress felt slow and uncertain. The difference is they didn't let that season define them. They kept moving, even when no one noticed. Once I stopped comparing my progress with others, my energy returned. Because energy grows when focus returns to your own path. That difficult year also taught me something about patience. Real progress rarely happens quickly. The most meaningful transformations are gradual. You improve your thinking one decision at a time. You strengthen discipline one action at a time. You rebuild confidence one small win at a time. And those small wins compound quietly. At first they seem insignificant, but months later, They create momentum. Momentum that feels powerful because it was earned slowly. Another mindset shift came from understanding responsibility. Not blame, responsibility. Blame looks backward, responsibility looks forward. Instead of asking who or what caused the situation, I asked myself, what can I control right now? My actions, my response, my effort. Those things were always available, and focusing on them made progress possible again. Because control, even small control, rebuilds belief. One of the most important lessons from that difficult year was learning to separate identity from outcomes. When things go wrong, it's easy to think, I failed. But there's a big difference between failing and being a failure. Failing is an event. Being a failure is a belief, and beliefs shape behavior. Once I stopped attaching my identity to temporary setbacks, I was able to approach challenges with more clarity. Mistakes became information, not personal attacks. That shift alone made growth easier. Over time, something surprising happened. The same year that once felt like my worst year started becoming one of my most valuable. Not because the problems disappeared, but because the lessons strengthened me. My thinking became more disciplined. My habits became more reliable. My expectations became more realistic, and my resilience increased. I realized that difficult seasons often produce the strongest versions of ourselves. Not instantly, but gradually. Looking back now, I'm grateful for that year, because comfort would never have forced those changes. Comfort maintains who you are. Pressure reveals who you can become. And sometimes the most painful chapters become the foundation for your strongest mindset. If you're going through a difficult season right now, remember this. Your worst year does not define your future. It's simply a chapter filled with lessons you haven't fully recognized yet. What matters most is how you interpret the experience. You can see it as proof that things are falling apart, or you can see it as training for who you are becoming. That choice shapes everything. Your mindset is not fixed. It evolves with the questions you ask, the habits you build, and the perspective you choose. And sometimes it takes a hard season to push you toward those changes. So if life feels heavy right now, don't assume the story is ending. You might actually be in the middle of the chapter where everything begins to shift. The year that once felt like your worst year might one day become the year that changed your thinking forever. And once your thinking changes, your direction begins to change as well. Slowly, quietly, but permanently.